She was the first one that came up to me and said,
I hate that song. Oh wait, she didn't. Why'd you come to Austin?
originally it was to come here and choose some great players. I had heard there were really good musicians here, and put together a band. The irony of being in LA is there are a million musicians, and very hard to find anybody that you can match personality-wise and writing style and performing. And I just couldn't find the right match for a band. And so I came here, my mom's family being from Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas region, so I was kind of familiar with it, but hadn't been to Austin directly until then. And fell in love with the city. I came here and stayed for a couple weeks to try and piece together a group, and never left. I went home and sold my stuff and came back.
I started in a company called Media Sound. It was a recording studio that I don't think even exists anymore. And I was doing some cheap music for those 1-800 commercials, you know, like phone a bet type thing, you know, and things like that, you know. So it was really cheesy, but it was a good experience, you know. And I got to work with a director and work, you know, build up the knowledge of relationship and what people look for in music for advertising. Eventually, I got an opportunity to work with GSD&M, which is one of the biggest advertising agencies in the country. And it just so happens that it's in Austin, Texas. And I got the opportunity to work with one of the people there, Mike Blair. I think that was probably one of my first big breaks. So I got to actually work with decent budget, and I think it was a Walmart commercial that we did. And then ever since, I've done a ton of Walmart commercials with them. And I think, as far as composition, that'd probably be my first big break. As far as albums, my wife, Lisa Tingle, she's been performing music as long as I've known her. And before we even started dating, while I was doing my advertising stuff, you know, I helped her record her albums and things like that. And it was kind of like the first real break that I had as a producer of an album with Lisa. And The Black Pearl was the first album I really produced. And from there, you know, I used that as a calling card for different projects.
Well, Austin in that time period was so amazing, you know, whether it's all the great shows that happened at the Armadillo World headquarters, where one night it could be Ravi Shankar, next night it's a ballet, followed by a Monkees reunion the next night, and then Willie Nelson, and then maybe, you know, who knows, Albert King or something. So that was an amazing time, you know, for $2 or $3, $4 or $5, and the price of cheap beer to go in there and experience all of that. You know, all of Austin got to do that in that time period. They should build a shrine where that skyscraper is now, you know, to that place. I've always thought that Eddie Wilson, one of the Armadillo people, who's got, I think, control of some of those posters and some of that great artwork and video from that time period and audio, something needs to be done, you know, whether it's the coffee table book with all the great artwork or if it's video productions.
Eddie Wilson's in LA right now working on a book.
Good, good. It'll be on my coffee table.
Yeah, man, there's like so much good music. I mean, when I first moved here, the music, the level of musicianship in this town has risen. I mean, so much. I mean, you can't walk down the street anymore and not hear somebody that you're not gonna like. There's gonna be somebody, you know. Oh yeah, you'll hit those bars where you're going, oh my God. But everybody starts somewhere. And you've got to know that one day, that band that you passed by and said, oh God, a year from now might be so tight and polished they're signing a record deal with whoever, and they're about ready to be the next big thing coming out of Austin.
What were y'all called? What was the name of the band?
Oh, Bright Red Sack.
Bright Red Sack.
Bright Red Sack.
Yeah.
That was
With Frosty.
There was Frosty. It was me, Bruce, Heath, and Frosty.
And Dan Dyer.
That was the first
And
time.
Dan Dyer.
Dan Dyer
Breedlove.
from Breedlove.
And myself.
And Diego.
I was
And Diego.
Bright Red Sack.
Diego was in Bright Red
you-
Sack, so.
Yeah, he played the swing
The
organ.
sack. I beat
I was
on
Bri- I
I
was
beat on
Bright.
the red sack.
He played
Bruce
the
was
sack.
red and he was the sack.
He was the sack.
He was the sack.
When I did my first record, I started listening to a lot of Otis Redding and just dug him. I liked him because he wasn't like a pretty singer so much as like voice-wise. He wasn't like, it was earthy. It was just highly emotional, sweating. It was like good sex. Watching that man work it out and sing. And I just love that. And then from Otis, I went to the blues. I went back to listening to the blues stuff. And that's about the time I was performing at Antone's on a regular basis with the Monday Night Band. And we were doing a lot of blues stuff. We were doing some early R&B stuff. And that attracted me to it. Well, in Elgin, everybody knew everybody, you know. And when I remember going off to college, they didn't know, or I wasn't trying to pass. That's ridiculous. That doesn't, you know. But there's always I don't know, that's a hard question. I don't have anything to compare it to. I just been an albino all my life, and that's the only way I know. And as for racist attitudes, well, I grew up in the 60s in a black family, so I'm gonna get that. We still had separate water fountains. Just because I had white skin didn't mean that, and I was with my family, I didn't mean that I went through the back door like everybody else who was black, you know? And so that's weird for people now in this country. I'm like, great. You know, I'm glad that's weird. I'm glad my nieces and nephews don't know anything about that. That's good. I'm glad I had that experience. It was very tough. It was tough all the way through high school, through college. It didn't stop being tough until I started to take the stage. And that's when everything fell into place for me. That's when I knew who I was. Because, you know, I think people are searching for that or having a core belief of who they are. And that was for me, that was it. You know, people will come up to sing, God, I enjoy seeing you. And they still do that. And they go, you probably get tired of hearing. I go, no, I don't. I need it. I like it. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know.
So you got kind of pressurized from both sides of the fence growing up.
Well, I wasn't white, black, or Hispanic or anything like that. I'm just, you know, but I'm a black man. Anybody that I had a woman tell me this funny story. I was in Utah. I was singing for the Bone Shakers, and we were doing a sound check. She walked up to me. She goes, and you know, she was slightly high. She goes, "You sound like a black man. Are you trying to do that?" And Les Fisher and everybody in that place just fell out. And I had to explain to her. I go, I'm an albino. I'm a black guy. Blah 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 blah. This is who I am. You know. Skin color didn't make a difference on that one. That's who I grew up as, and I'm happy as peas about that.
And this is something else off the new record, Malcolm Milligan Band, Sweet Cherry Soul. It's called Shake 'Em On Down. My little baby, she gon' jump and shout. My little baby, she gon' let in her hang out. She comes home in the evening, she makes the love come down, and leaves home in the morning, got me way, 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 way down. Baby on the ground. My little baby, she don't need no diamond ring. just wants that same old thing. What she want, Richard? She comes home in the evening, she makes her love come down, leaves home in the morning, got me way, 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 way down. A baby on the ground. Oh, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Oh, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Oh, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Oh, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Richard! Mr. Archie Rhythm. Dickie, give us a little bit. Get a drummer song. Get a drummer song, y'all. That's Nikki Hustings, y'all. She comes home in the evening, makes her love come down, leaves home in the morning, got me way, 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 way down. Baby on the ground. Oh, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Oh, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. One more time, y'all. Shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Here we go now. Shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down, shake 'em on down. Yeah, man.
We'd get a keg, we'd tell people.
I said, okay, I'm coming now.
And they would pull us.
We did one in Dallas, Austin, Corpus Christi, and Houston.
That's where I really got good at the guitar.
That's why Austin was so popular, because
Man, he met the girl of his dreams that night.
But then we grew up.
Still got nothing to say up here. Well, I'm the mighty bone crusher, and I crush your bones for a buck. I got a PhD and I fight to land saying
Texas tin top circus town. Music so divine. I'm a big fat fish in a little pond, but there's something pouring known it all my life. Yeah. Feel like I'm missing something.
MusicTexas.com.